Why?
I've been on a diet since I was like 6.
Okay.
You've talked a lot about
I mean, look.
The only diet this girl's been on since she was 6 years old is a seafood diet. Oh my God. Let's go.
trauma, being molested, parents, this and that.
Yes.
I've heard of someone mention the BMI. I've heard people use the word obese.
Okay.
So what is your thought on this oversimplification? I think actually the medical industry and a lot of health professionals have oversimplified.
I'm sorry if that's happened to you. I think you're seeing the wrong people. I know a lot of really good people.
But that's also privilege. Of course, you know a lot of good people. You're a rich white woman who's been on television. And I would love to know, somebody
A lot of them
mentioned the
write
show.
books.
Totally.
A lot
I
of
could read a
them-
book. I've read a lot of diet books, Jillian.
Not a diet book.
Or whatever. What kind of book? A self-help book?
Well, I mean, if you're struggling with an eating disorder and you're telling me I have no access to
Well, how do
any
I know if I'm
expert-
struggling with an eating disorder? Where does genetics play into all of this?
Do you want to take on genetics? We can.
Go ahead. Are you a scientist?
Do you think you have to be a scientist to understand?
No, but
the
I
way
haven't heard
genetics
one
work?
comment about where do genetics
Well,
play
that's
in.
that's not the claim.
I knew this was coming. I knew it was coming because they always lean on genetics. Whenever you have an obese person who talks about how, you don't need to lose weight and you're fine if you're obese, they always point to genetics. But let me tell you, there's no disease or there's no gene that makes you fat. Yes, there are certain genetics and certain diseases that will make it harder for you to lose weight. But there's nothing out there that's going to make you fat. You did that on your own. But I'm telling you, it's just an excuse. It's not a real reason for them not to focus on exercising and focus on their dieting.
If you want to get into genetics and
Repeat
obesity,
the claim again. First of all, obesity is a very outdated term. It's based on the BMI, which is based on white men.
actually-
in this. Come on, Jillian. You could be single-handedly responsible for updating the BMI.
on.
Okay, but we also have waist to hip, and we have DEXA, and we have MRI.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
So
What are the MRI meaning
you
like
don't
the
even-
machine most fat people don't even fit in?
You have DEXA, and you
I've
have
never
waist
heard
to
of that,
hip.
girl. What's a DEXA?
DEXA
These are
scan.
normal people. We are on TikTok.
Okay, how about
And
waist to hip?
Hold on. There's also been a lot
Waist
of
to
like
hip ratio?
blame, sure, waist to hip ratio, but that's also like skeletal and like how do you-
No, waist to hip is not. It has to do with a ratio of your waist to your hips, and it's evidence, sorry to say, of excess visceral fat. That's what it's for. And that's an indicator of obesity.
So obesity.
It says here, waist to hip ratio measures fat distribution, not total body fat. A higher ratio is associated with more abdominal fat and greater cardiometabolic risk, but it is not a direct measure of visceral fat and does not by itself define obesity. Okay.
That term. What does that mean to you?
Obesity, it means that you have an unhealthy percentage of body fat.
What is healthy? What is unhealthy? Like what is the measure of health for human
For
beings?
women, I think it's in the 35 plus percentile.
35 plus percentile of what? By what measure? The DEXA?
35% of your body weight being comprised of body fat.
The thing that I think is most interesting is that you didn't get to earlier.
You didn't ask me earlier.
Well, I haven't gotten there.
Fact check. There is no single body fat percentage that defines obesity for everyone. Obesity is most commonly classified using BMI. When body fat percentage is used, cutoffs vary by sex and age. For example, standards from the American Council on Exercise classify obesity as 25% body fat for men and 32% for women, meaning 35% may indicate obesity in many cases, but it is not a universal threshold.
No, with someone else. You said, because I'm seeing a very different person than from who we've seen on television. And I think there's been a lot of blame shifting to influencers and TikTok. And the reality is, girl, that's where we're all getting our info now. I've never seen a full episode of The Biggest Loser because my parents told me to watch it and I said, all the way off.
Right, but you have no rage at your parents whatsoever, right?
Oh, well, I'm not fat because of the age of my
All the way
parents.
off? That doesn't sound like a primary wound telling your parents to all the way off.
the
Is that
primary-
not evidence of what I'm saying?
Totally. Primary wound plus genetics plus whatever choices I make in my
Okay,
life
pick
is
your-
where what
can
you're
I ask
saying
you
now.
something? Pick the argument you want to have. Do you want to have a debate?
I want to
Do you
hear who
discuss
you are on the show,
genetics?
who that person is and was,
Okay.
and who this person is now. Because
Same
I'm seeing
person. It's not at all.
You know, what's interesting about that is if her parents were trying to get her to watch The Biggest Loser, they were probably trying to encourage her to lose weight and trying to show her that it is possible because look at these other people, they're doing it. Shows like The Biggest Loser should be inspirational. It shouldn't be a thing that makes you feel bad, like, oh, they're losing weight, but I'm not. You should be inspired by those people trying their best, people who are doing things that they thought they could never do before. That's inspirational. But instead, she tells her parents to fuck off. You should be inspired by the show, not feel shamed by it. You should look at those people and say, hey, look, if they can do it, so can I.
Can I say something? You just told me you never watched an episode of Big
Oh,
Sister.
but I've seen TikTok clips. I saw the documentary. I mean,
Have you ever seen a full episode? Let's say with one of my contestants like Abby Wright.
Tell me about
or
the show.
Michelle
Tell me
Aguilar.
whatever. Tell me who you were on the show. Tell me where that Jillian Michaels. Because to be honest,
but you
we've
gotta let
all
me talk.
Sure, before.
Okay, I'm the exact same person that you see now. Now, of course, yes, you would see parts of what I was doing. You would never see the entire picture of what I was doing, and you never understand why I was doing it. So let me address the part that you're thinking of. Okay, I had a contestant, 500 pounds. This contestant in particular had an exceptionally traumatic background. Can I tell you about it, or you don't care? Okay. So her mother was a prostitute.
A sex worker. We say now.
Her mother was a sex worker. If that makes you feel
Sex
safer.
work is real work.
Okay, that's a separate debate, and I'm not.
Oh my God.
Let's stay on point before we get into all the woke ideology. So, having said that, the contestant named Shay, her mother used to sleep with men for heroin while she was locked in a closet, and she's gonna go home based on the percentages. I didn't make the game. Not a producer. Very publicly had issues with the name and the gamification. So. I don't want her to go home. And certain things need to happen before I feel, and I have seen, that there would be any hope of her being able to live past 40 years old. And she has all of the things, type 2 diabetes, the beginnings of chronic kidney disease, arterial plaque, all the things that are legitimately alarming. So I can't get her on this freaking ladder. It's day one. Can't get her on for 15 seconds. Tried everything. Cannot get her on this ladder for 15 seconds. And we're playing this out and we're playing it out, not getting anywhere. Because the story is, I'm weak, I'm fat, I'm worthless, I'm this, I'm that, all the internalized shame. And at that moment, I pretty much tried everything. What you don't see is this has gone on for about 4 hours and I can't get her on the freaking ladder. She comes in the room and I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm like, God damn it, get on this freaking ladder. I swear to God, get on the ladder or you're gonna go home. Get on the freaking ladder. Going crazy. And I'm utilizing her fear of me, quite honestly, to circumvent the story that she thinks is true. Long story short, she gets on the ladder, she climbs 15 seconds. I show up the next day. She's like, I got back on the ladder for 15 minutes last night. I was like, that's awesome, dude. And she ended up losing 300 pounds. So you may not agree with it, but it worked for me and it worked for Shay in that moment. You don't know why I'm doing it. You don't understand that it's a life or death intervention on a ticking clock. You don't understand all the other things I've tried. So I kind of don't care what you guys
How much
think.
of her weight?
She makes a pretty good point because when your life is on the line, who gives a damn about your feelings? We see examples of that with parents and they see their child about to put a fork in the outlet. What do? They yell, they scream, they wave their finger at them. Don't you ever do that again. Because they're trying to discourage them from putting themselves in harm's way. And yes, the child is going to cry and they're going to be like, oh no, right? But the better thing is that they don't put the fork in the outlet. And that's the same thing with this lady. She said, look, I will use fear if I have to get this lady on this ladder because you either lose this weight or you die. And I agree with her tactics because physical health will always trump someone's feelings. They want to focus on, oh, she was mean, when they should be focusing on, she might have just saved this lady's life.
Care what you
How
guys
much
think.
of her weight did she gain back?
She gained, well, good one.
'Cause
No,
95%
hold on.
of diets don't work.
Not my contestants. 35% of them kept the weight off, which is actually exceptional. And I could give you all the names. If 5% are able to keep it off, there are obviously a myriad of reasons as to why that's the case. But if I had a 35% success rate, can you at least concede that maybe I'm doing a little bit better than the norm, than the baseline?
I can agree that the #1 celebrity trainer in the entire world has a success rate. That I can concede
You
to.
said keep it off. They kept it off. I got the weight
30%
off.
of people that went on a public TV show.
35% is a pretty good success rate. I think that lines up with the numbers that they mentioned earlier. I do wonder if, the numbers are better for people who are self-motivated, meaning they did it without any trainers or any help. If they do a better job of keeping the weight off than people who did have professional help, because once that professional help is gone, now that's kind of like a crutch to lean on versus people who are used to doing the work by themselves and didn't have any help and they're completely self-motivated. So that way, when they hit their goal, they know how to keep themselves on track versus people who, they had assistance to help lose their weight. I wonder if it's harder for them because once those people are gone, now that kind of gives them an excuse to slack off. I wonder what the numbers are on that. Look, here's what I say, and I've said this before. The body positivity movement is meant for things that you can't change. Skin color, height, whether you were born with a missing limb, hair texture, right? That is what the body positivity movement was made for. It was made for you to love the things about yourself that you can't change, not for things that you can change, like body fat. And the thing is, the body positivity movement has been co-opted by fat people and by the food industry. It's been co-opted by the fat people so they can have an excuse not to exercise and to eat whatever they want. And it's been co-opted by the food industry so they can profit off of your gluttony. If you want my opinion on it, we need to stop coddling people's feelings, start giving people the hard truth so that way we can save people's lives. All right, that's all I got for this one. Please let me know, what points did you agree with? What points did you disagree with? Please leave your comments below and let me know what you thought. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And if you got anything out of this video, hit that like button. Disagree to disagree.